We talked to William Whatley, a dynamic entrepreneur recognized as a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree. He shares his journey from the unexpected recognition to founding Metris, a pioneering climate tech startup.
Well, that was, honestly, just a complete surprise. It's funny, like I'm not sure what their criteria is for giving those awards out because what they actually gave it for, I didn't actually think was that impressive. Metris, actually, my startup, which I say is, maybe I just mentioned that only because when you're building a pre-seed startup, you don't think it's really that great. I don't know. You just see all the problems for what they are. And if anything, had I got the 30 under 30 accomplishment, I could have seen it being for something different in the past, maybe, but not this one. I would say it was 2021. I decided I wanted to work in climate tech. At the time, that was an all encompassing umbrella of clean tech, such as renewable energy solutions, all the way to carbon credits and voluntary carbon credit market. For me, I was really interested in energy just because I believe energy is the backbone of the whole world. If everything's electrified and renewable, then we don't have the emissions problems that we have today. So I joined Entrepreneur First, which is an accelerator. There's primarily based in London. I met my co-founder there who was also interested in working in energy. He found a really kind of interesting problem set and just went all in there, raised our round from our first check from EF, from Entrepreneur First. And then shortly after, we pulled together a 2.5 million pre-seed round. We got a pretty cool office. That was the first thing. Step one, yep, get a cool office. Kind of jokes, but kind of serious. Actually, we did get an upgraded office. We actually really didn't hire. I had a couple developers that I'd hired already to build our MVP prior to closing our round because we had a few first adopters that we were co-designing with and delivering the product for. And the three of us, that was enough. We did hire, of course, a couple months after for marketing primarily and commercial related roles, but I'm kind of a believer in being reactionary rather than proactive and pre-seed in terms of hiring. I think it's just better to feel stressed and hire as you hate your life and feel stressed rather than hire because you think you might need someone in 3 months and then that inevitably changes, of course. So Metris, let me just think. So we raised our rounds, we expanded the team. When I left, we were 12 maybe, so still very small. We had a few first adopters that are still using the product today. The product is something I'm really proud of. It's pretty cool. It's a platform that is helping commercial renewable energy funds manage large scale asset portfolios across Europe. So something I'm pretty passionate about. We're connected to lots and lots of different hardware devices and fetching that data in real time and then analyzing that data and providing a lot of value to our first adopters. I left in February just because I had some other things that I was interested in, and that's kind of I think the path of someone that's trying to go down this journey, I guess, is that you're just always trying things and seeing what works and what doesn't, and how you work best and how you can show up your best. And I just felt there was a little bit more for me. Yeah, I'm just in my house tinkering, building my own products. That's something I've always done over the years, is build my own products. Something I really love doing. These days, I'm just so excited about what's happening in the space. AI is crazy. I'm bullish and bearish at the same time. I'm a skeptic. I'm an optimist at the same time. But these days, I'm really just building and learning. That's really the only intention, is just to learn with the end objective of starting something new. So a couple products I've been really interested in, the robotics side of things. I think robotics is really having I'm not going to say it's heyday because it's still really early days, but in the last 3 to 6 months, so many major advancements have happened where I think robotics is starting to get some of the ingredients it needs to become more meaningful, a part of our life anyway. So Yeah, I've been playing around with vision language action models and also agentic AI. As you mentioned, the financial app is really just my way of understanding how RAG and MCP works and how people are, coming up with best practices and things like that today. Yes, so it's the Hugging Face Global Hackathon. The way it worked is in each major city. For me, I was in London. They had a local chapter, and you competed locally and globally. We were one of the winners locally and one of the winners globally on the top 30 winners list. What we built is a complete autonomous cleaning sequence. The way it works is we have a mounted camera on a robotic arm. It would be able to detect a sponge in any place that you put the sponge, so it's completely generalized. Pick up the sponge, find a dirty plate, scrub the actual dirt off the plate and return the sponge, and continue that loop until the plate was completely clean. That's just kind of what I was just mentioning. There's just so much happening in the space at the moment. I think robotics in the next 2 to 3 years is really going to be huge, or at least the start of something huge. Personally, I think the real value unlock, the real value add is in the physical world. It's with robotics. It's mixing the physical world with AI. It's not just these LLMs that we're seeing today. It's the vision language action models that are being released today for physical applications. So that's something I'm really bullish on personally. In the last 3 months, 3 different equivalents of VLAs have come out. Hugging Face came out with their small VLA. NVIDIA came out with Groot, and Meta came out with VJEPA. All three of these, as mentioned, are super new and cutting edge generalist robotics intelligence frameworks. These days, I don't know if I'm alone, but I feel like it's so hard to really have strong opinion just because everything's changing so quickly and there's so many nuances. I mentioned bearish only because the more I've played around with these AI tools that we have available today, the more I can really see their limitations. And yes, a lot of those limitations will be alleviated, but I do have some questions if there's a ceiling that can be broken in the short term with a lot of these limitations. Just in terms of how I've been using AI over the last few years, it's in my day-to-day development workflow. And anyone who's used it for development purposes have seen that sometimes you're like, wow, this is great. And sometimes you're like, this is really bad, actually. It's not that good. I spend more time rejecting and correcting than actually getting value from it. Actually, Catalyst is my own entity that I've had since I was 21. I'm 30 now. So this entity has just facilitated my different services work that I've done over the years. I think today more than ever, a lot of startups don't need a CTO. There's definitely some opinions about that in support of that, I believe. I feel technical differentiation is not as important as it used to be. The more important bits today is really creating a great customer experience and user experience that, that your users love. And I think you can get a lot of value from having a CTO that's not full-time or co-founder and get a lot of experience and stuff from a fractional CTO. I think almost every engagement I've ever had, I was the first fractional CTO for the company. So that part I definitely understand. For me, it's the first stages is really, really understanding what they're trying to accomplish, like diving as deep into that as necessary until I feel that I genuinely have clarity and an understanding of why they're looking for someone like me. And in most cases, there's probably not a good fit. Maybe at that point, it's just not the type of project that I would take on, or maybe I feel that I'm not the best to provide value to them. So I think by taking that approach, you already kind of build trust. I would say a few things come to mind. One is definitely not applicable for a lot of people, but I've seen it is like, just stop LARPing your company. I see a lot of people who, I don't know, it's like they're trying to build, corporation from day one. And it's just stop that. Like, there's no reason to role play a company. Like, just build, just solve, like, understand the problem you're solving and solve it. Like, forget everything else. Everything else can be informal and casual, and I think it should be, until you feel like you've really found something that's worth continuing. Otherwise, I think you're wasting your time.